In our first story, former Gimpa rector says Ghanaians cannot expect to see much of a change in their lives, judging by the growth rate projected in the 2016 budget as presented by the Finance Minister last Friday.
Deputy Finance Minister Mona Korte has rebuffed that criticism, saying the growth rate of 4.1% is not ambitious enough, arguing many developed nations will envy Ghana's growth rate. Professor Stephen Adai, however, says the projected growth figure would not make much of an impact, especially considering how sharply the country's growth has declined in the last few years. He highlighted some positives, though, in the budgets in the following interview with Israel Lai.
We must congratulate the minister that he has tried to situate the current budget within a 3-year framework, which means that it's not just 1 year you'll finish. He's giving us almost like a roadmap for 2016 to 2018, which is quite good, especially since the government has woefully failed to bring up any strategic plan during the last few years and where we are going. I think the rolling 3-year plan, and of course that makes things look better, because when you look at the whatever they are talking about, the growth rate or inflation, the 3 years is better than the first year, so it has also a very good political stint about it. I think the second thing which is good about the budget is the fact that, at least in theory, their commitment not to unnecessarily reflate the economy, the usual problems we have in the election years. So what they have presented is relatively conservative. Whether they will be able to obey it or not, I don't think. So far, the history, not of NDC, but all our governments, shows that this is only, it may be just a matter of talk. So I think that for the first time, even though in other ways they try to exaggerate, they are being realistic as to what they can do. So in that sense, I will give a plus for what has happened.
But in that case, then it makes it not look so ambitious.
Yes, yes. Because they cannot be unambitious when you have almost ruined the economy and you are in a stabilization period.
Oh, they've almost ruined the economy?
We were growing at 14%, came to 11%, 8%. Now we are struggling to get 4%. I mean, this is almost not ruined the sense of spoiled economy, but the growth rate, inflation has stabilized for me. So therefore, if since last year the government is taking steps to manage these negative trends, controlling the appetite for borrowing, which now the minister says that he will be borrowing at a reduced rate of so we are not sure what it will come. But what I'm saying is that in that sense, there is a positive direction.
Right.
And I think that we should give the government the credit for that.
Now the bad news.
The bad news is when you are projecting to grow at 4.2%, with population growing about 2.5%, you are talking about 1.5%. In real terms, let me tell you, nobody will see any change in their life because of 1.5% or so real growth.
Oh, you're smiling. I don't know whether we should smile on this one, though. But there was this very sentence that was linked to the Deputy Minister of Finance. As we also know that the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana has also increased its policy rate by 100 basis points, meaning now the lending rate is pegged at 26%.
This is the second time the policy rate has been increased since June, and the highest in a long while. Speaking at a news conference here in Accra, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Kofi Wampa, said the move was influenced by attempt to control inflation, which was on the increase.
The inflation end of year, we expect that it will be above 17%, maybe the lower 17s. We are currently 17.4, and we think that the rate will end the year between 17 and 17.4. So all these are fed into our target. So it's not only the Fed decision that is taken into consideration in arriving at this. All developments in the both domestic and external markets are taken into consideration. The tightening financial conditions, China, what is happening in China, and other emerging markets, and so on, they are all taken into consideration in arriving at this, as well as what, for example, when we did the last MPC, the projection is that we're going to have a lower inflation rate for October than what happened. So all those factors are taken into consideration in deriving the target of when we are able to do it. So
the action by the central bank is likely to influence the cost of lending in the country. This might lead to hikes in lending rates of commercial banks too. Assessment of current economic conditions, according to the Bank of Ghana, shows that though monetary policy remains tight, some additional tightening is required to re-anchor the displaced inflation expectations. This, together with the ongoing fiscal consolidation, is expected to break the high inflation inertia.
That in other words, the expenses are based on available revenue. So instead of spending more, because where are they going to spend from? The central bank financing is reduced, and so what they are doing is that coordinating more the expenditure with the revenue. So the further revenues are low, yes, that poses some stress, but then they have to deal with it, and that's what they are doing, dealing with those stress. But then with the resolution of the energy crisis and so on, we expect that to improve.
It adds that the risks to the inflation outlook were on the upside, with a likelihood of a further drift away from the medium-term target, hence its decision on the monetary policy rate.
President John Dramani Mahama says the persistent insult and attacks on his person will not distract him from his duties.
According to the president, he has been given a mandate by Ghanaians and will focus on executing that mandate. He was addressing a gathering in Accra to wrap up his Changing Lives tour.
I have been the most insulted. Indeed, I think my government has been the most insulted government in the history of this country. And every day you listen to the radio and personal invectives and insults are rained on my person. But like I said, those things are not going to distract me. I have a job to do. So boy, I was given a mandate by the people of Ghana, and I'm not going to let those useless insults distract me from that mandate. Choboy. But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. If you see what your enemy will do to themselves, then you can guess what they will do to you if they get you. Choboy, the other day I received an audio recording on my WhatsApp, and I opened it and listened to it. Indeed, I felt so sad. I felt sad. I mean, no cultured person should ever do what the woman who was talking on that audio did, Auntie B or whatever her name is, insulting the former president of this country. I mean, it's unacceptable. I don't know how many of you have heard that audio recording. It's unacceptable. And I felt sad for President Kufuor. But then it also gave me, in Twi we say, Arishim, because if they can insult President Kufuor like that, they ask for me, they will grind me in a potoyua. They'll grind me in a potoyua. They've told all their communicators, anytime you mention Mahama or NDC, say incompetent. And so you hear Baumia and Co say incompetent Mahama administration, incompetent. You've never held any responsibility anywhere near presidency before. You don't know what it is like to be president. I will take that word from Kufuor or from Rawlings because they've been there before. All of you guys have never ever come near the presidency. You know what it is to be a president? And you stand and say, incompetent Mahama administration, incompetent Mahama administration.
Well, so we have to move on to the subject of power because the Power Minister, Kwabena Donkor, has lauded the efforts of managers of a renewable energy project in the Gumais district of the Central Region. The
Onyaze Solar Energy Project will generate some 20 megawatts of energy to power about 20,000 homes. Here's a report by Latif Idris.
The current load shedding exercise seems to have worsened in recent days. That may partly be blamed on the fact that the country, as at Monday, November 16, was shedding 450 megawatts of power. This project, developed by PTL Technologies, a wholly Ghanaian-owned renewable energy company, is expected to ease the load shedding exercise. The project, though completed, is yet to start full operations.
We had the tariff with the ECC inside the PPA agreement, so based on the one they will pay us. So we need to just pay on time so we can support the project moving well. So,
Are they going to pay you more or pay at the same price?
They had the tariff, so you can based on that one, they pay that one.
The Power Minister, who paid a working visit at the facility, considered that the 20 megawatts that will be produced by the company would be very marginal in terms of the energy needs of the country. But he says this is still positive.
The history of solar across other jurisdictions is that whenever they've gone on a tender, they've obtained a lower price. And so we will want to benchmark not just for that particular farm, so that that can also be serve as a negotiating point on future IPPs.
What is the feed-in tariff? As of today, we'll be shedding 450 megawatts of power. This is 20 megawatts. How significant would you say this would be to ensure that the Dumso situation is a bit relieved?
Well, I don't know about Dumso. I know about load shedding. If we are talking about load shedding, let me know if it's load shedding.
Load shedding I'm talking about.
Well, load shedding is not Dumso. There are two different terminologies, and I prefer sticking to load shedding. Well, you are telling me we are shedding 450 today. I haven't checked. But on the average, we shed between 300 and 500, depending on which day. So 20 megawatts will not be massive, but however, it is a very important first step in our solution mix.
The Power Minister has set himself an end-of-year deadline for ending the power crisis. When asked if he still stands by his words, Dr. Kwabena Donkor declined to answer, but said Ghanaians should keep their fingers crossed. There's also this issue about getting money to get our thermal plants running. We owe up to the tune of 1.3 billion, and that's money.
Well, I don't know whether we owe 1.3 billion, and here I'm prepared to talk only about renewable energy. We can talk about other things elsewhere.
I'm not pushing you to the wall, but I'm just worried. I
wouldn't even be pushed.
So I'm wondering, because that has been the talk of time, I'm wondering whether you can achieve that deadline for Ghanaians to be happy.
Well, let's wait and see.
Right. Thank you.
And you are making commentary here, Edwin Safo. You are a risk manager with Toyota Ghana, and well, you're saying I didn't sleep well. I slept well. I know that you said I said a Facebook with a number. It's because of Mama V's fault, don't worry. But this is a happy birthday to you, and Yvonne Chumesiampo of Stanbic Bank, Mervyn branch, and Howard Dama of the Daily Graphic or Graphic Group Communications. Happy birthday. It falls on the 17th of November, and this is from your lead editor, Ransford Tete, saying that enjoy your day.
Can I say good morning to Ransford Tete as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so good morning, sir. But it's your birthday. We got a message from Harwich Arthur Jr., who's wishing, he says, please help me say happy birthday to my father, Mr. Harwich Arthur Sr., Cape Coast Adisado Village, as he celebrates his 70th birthday today. So, Mr. Arthur Senior Harriage, we're wishing you a happy birthday. 70 is a good number. We thank God for your life. Enjoy your birthday today. Somebody also sent us a message, and it says, let me be the first to wish Nana Konedu Ajiman Rawlins a happy birthday on your platform. God bless you for being a strong woman all these years. That came through from Emmanuel Vinya from Spintex. If you've got something you want to pass on to us, why not? You can do so via WhatsApp or on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Joy News on TV. Stay with us. When we come back, we're quickly checking out what the newspapers are reporting today as captured by myjoyonline.com.
Do stay on. We'll be right back.